Joining us from Livonia, Michigan is Lynn Mills. Hello, Lynn.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, and you're an old friend of ours. Matter of fact, you came here for our first
IoT training.
IoT, the Intel operations training, and now you have the DVD.
I do.
So you're an old friend of, I don't want to say old, but you're a longtime friend of Life Dynamics. Let's put it that way.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm the oldest one here, so anyway, by far. Tell us about this young lady. Her name's Cree Irwin, is that correct?
Cree Irwin Shepherd, yes.
Okay. What happened in this situation? We only have about 5 minutes, but go ahead and update us what's going on,
Okay.
because there's
Well,
a massive cover-up going on up there.
Yes, and I don't know where it starts, but the medical examiner took 8 months when it's normally 3 to 6 months to put out the autopsy. The FOIA officer in Calhoun County, the neighboring county, did not want to release anything to Catherine, Cheryl Sullinger, or myself. He called us curiosity seekers.
Okay, let's make sure people understand. A FOIA is a Freedom of Information Act request, which is law.
Right.
This is not optional.
No, and he redacted all parts that concerned the abortion aspect of this. And we have been working on behalf of the family. We had the protest for Cree in late March, and I found on Facebook Cree's brother acknowledging how happy this wasn't being swept under the rug, that somebody was doing something for the family. So I reached out to him and said, with permission of your wife, please contact me. And he did. And I invited him up here to join us at a press conference. And when he came to the press conference, I said, please, can you bring the records from Bronson ER, because she went to the ER 2 days after the abortion, and the ER saw either blood clots or products of conception in there. All they did for her was calm her pain with some morphine. They gave her the drug, I don't have it in front of me, to stop her vomiting, sent her home with the plan of either going back after the long 4th of July weekend to Planned Parenthood or her own private physician. Within 18 hours, she was dead. Now, just 2 days ago, I finished the allegations to LARA, the licensing agency in Michigan, against Planned Parenthood, because that's where it starts, with the 4-centimeter rip in her uterus, against Laura Castleman, the abortionist we believe did that, and the ER doctor, I can't pronounce his name, that sent her home, that couldn't do the D&C and keep her in the hospital and keep her alive. This woman, this 24-year-old young lady who was black and working in a factory, who was a young mother, could be living today if those 3 people hadn't interfered in her life. And I want to make it very clear that Tyler, her brother, said she was sorry as soon as she had that abortion, that she regretted it, that the family is pro-life, and that she didn't want to tell her mother, but the pain was so horrible that she had to tell her mother to get to the ER, and that we're not done. We're filing allegations against the medical examiner for the fuzzy thinking in the way she wrote up the autopsy report and the death certificate. This is nothing but protecting Planned Parenthood, and we want the records from Planned Parenthood, and we're doing everything we can to help the family get those records. We're not done. This is not going to stand. We want justice for Cree. When I get off the phone with you, I am going to go see Pastor Reverend Ewell. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's going to be picketing the NAACP this weekend, and he wants my Justice for Cree and her baby signs, and he's going to be exposing to the NAACP what is wrong with abortion in America and how uneven it is and how they're trying to do away with the black population in this country.
Well, you know, Lynn, you're talking about Levon Ewell, Pastor Levon Ewell.
Yes.
He's in my Alpha 21.
Oh, yeah, he gets it. He knows.
Right. He understands this. He understood it before we explained it to him. He was one of the people that, when I was putting together the script from Alpha 21, he was one of the people I talked to. He already understood everything I was telling him.
He has his own pro-life organization that he's been involved in for years.
Right. But let's make a point here. You know, everything that happens in this country bad to black people is not a result of racism. Sometimes bad things just happen. But I'm going to tell you, in this case right here, and it's just like the Tanya Reeves case, if if Cree was white and had middle class or upper middle class parents with money and could hire attorneys, this thing would be a totally different scenario than what it is right now.
I can't understand why they sent her home. She had a hole. They saw it. She had either a blood clot or baby parts, and they sent her home.
That's because they don't care. They don't want her dying on the spot because
Right.
then an ambulance has to show up. Lynn, that's the reason.
Their
was
reputation
in
is
the-
on the line.
She was in the ER, and an ambulance showed up 2 blocks away at her mother's house.
Okay, but wait a minute. Lynn, one of the things that you need to be looking at here, because, and I know you already know this, but I'll make sure that the audience understands this. When you start investigating these abortion clinics, what you inevitably find is that they've got some sort of usually unofficial relationship with someone at a local emergency hospital to cover their tracks for them. And I would look out there and see how many other people have been injured, taken to this hospital that came from that clinic or had some connection with that clinic. Because I guarantee you, what you're describing to me is something we used to see all the time in our malpractice cases, that there was a particular emergency facility that was specifically there to cover the tracks of this abortionist. And that's why they sent her home. They don't want anything to reflect back on that abortion clinic anyway, either.
This was one county away, though. This was not the county that the abortion mill was in. I'll look into that, but
But wait a minute, had she died at that abortion clinic, at that emergency room, that would have been part of the official record. But if she died somewhere else, it wouldn't necessarily be. And
so
they can,
did they figure she was going to die anyway?
I don't know if they figured that she was going to die anyway. What I'm telling you is they didn't care if she died anyway. And that's the same thing we saw with Tanya Reeves. When these people rolled Tanya Reeves, which they admitted they did, they knew she was hemorrhaging, not just bleeding, but she was hemorrhaging. They rolled her out of the procedure room into the hallway. They rolled her out of the procedure room because they needed it for more abortions. Mm-hmm. They continued doing abortions that day. They literally were walking past the gurney that Tanya Reeves was lying on, and they kept, like Renee was saying, they kept packing gauze into her to soak up the blood. She was hemorrhaging. They sat there and let her bleed out. Now, the fact is, they may not have known that she was going to die. They may not have predicted that she was going to die. They might have thought she was going to be okay. But the fact is, they didn't care. That's the bottom line here. They didn't care if this young 28-year-old woman bled to death. And what I'm telling you is, the people that you're dealing with, they didn't care either. It's not a matter of what they knew or didn't know. It's a matter of what they cared about. And that's depraved indifference. And if I were you, I would be looking, I don't know what the Michigan statute is on depraved indifference murder, but you can find it online and see if that might have some application here too. But I guarantee you, that's what killed Tanya Reeves. She was murdered. It was not medical malpractice, and it was not an accident. It was murder.
Well, my state senator has contacted me over this case and is interested. So I'm going to take these wise words that you have handed me, and I will have another conference with him on this. And he wants to help stop the funding of Planned Parenthood, and I will take it a step further with him. And I'm going to tell you, Cree's life is not disposable, and they're messing with the wrong people here in Michigan. This is a pro-life state. We've been a pro-life state going back to 1972 and beyond, and they're not going to get away with this.
Well, I know you're a fighter, so you keep it up, and please let us know of what developments come from as a result of this. And we've done our best that we can do to keep Tanya Reeves' name out there. We put out a brochure on it. We talk about it all the time. It's on Life Talk here. We can't let these people continue to sweep these women under the rugs like they've done for the last 44 years.
I will.
Thank you.
Absolutely will.
Thank you for joining us, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you for having me, Mark, Renee, and Pastor.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, we thank you for what you're doing up there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.